coming off Georgia Southern seemed like a pretty good result for a number of your players. How do you feel like that event can fuel some confidence going into ACCs next week?
Yeah, well, it was a good event. Bibliani-Lou, she played really well, played solidly, shot basically 75, 74, 75, so just below her stroke average. So hopefully it'll really springboard her into a great ACC championship. She's experienced the golf course. It's down in Greensboro at Sedgefield Country Club, which is a great golf course. Should be a great event. And Eileen Lee, she's a senior and captain on the team, has played there 2 out of her 3 previous years. 1 year it was in South Carolina because of the House bill there in North Carolina. But so there's some experience on the golf course. Hopefully BB can kind of use her experience in that sudden death playoff and coming down the stretch, knowing that she was basically tied for the lead, and have a great championship.
Do you think BB, from last year as a rookie down there, probably some nerves, do you think given another year, I think she was 52nd last year, given another year, given the way she's playing right now, that she could enter this championship a lot more confident?
Certainly, she's changed as a golfer. She's stronger. Her swing is faster. She's improved. Her stroke average has improved from last year to this year. She's become a leader on the team. She came to me after the fall season, and she's just like, I know I can do better. And she worked hard technically and mechanically with her swing. We worked a lot on changing some of the dynamics, and it's paid off a bit. It's also, she had 1 or 2 rounds in a couple of the early events this spring that it wasn't as good as late fall, but that's to be expected when you're making mechanical changes. So she's really become, with a low stroke average right now for the team, she's become a leader, and just looking forward to the next week and having a great championship, and then her next 2 years. So she's only a sophomore, so she's young. Ultimately it's been a young team. About 3 or 4 freshmen or sophomores have been traveling to each of the events for this whole academic year. So they've been young, and they're getting a lot of good experience that'll hopefully pay off later on, down the road in the next year or 2.
And you have Eileen, as kind of your leader. What have you seen from her this year, and how can she sort of build on last year being top 30 and leading your team at ACCs at the same course?
Eileen's she's just a wonderful person and a solid captain. She and Katie Kim are captains this year, co-captains, and she's really very, very consistent. She leads the team in a couple areas, specifically with fairways and regulations. I think she's at 78%, which is, she doesn't lead, but that's pretty solid. She's very good with greens and regulations, but her scrambling or up and down statistic is pretty high in a team. So she's, from round to round, you don't see the highs and lows with Eileen, which is great. It's just having her capitalize on, when she does hit the green, and making sure she knows the lines and knows the speed so that she can make more putts. She knows the golf course, Sedgefield. Been down there 2 out of her 3 previous years. So with that comes experience. It's like playing your home golf course and knowing it. She's already played with practice rounds. She's played 12 rounds there. So she's played 8 rounds there. So, she's going into her 9th round at Sedgefield, and she knows the field, and which is a strong field, but she can put some good solid rounds together, can finish in the top 20 easily.
And finally, how do you sort of approach Sedgefield as a course? What are its challenges, and what do you have to do to be successful there?
It's a long golf course, specifically for the women. It plays close to 6,200 yards in actual length, but it has a lot of uphill shots, a lot of downhill, then uphill. And the uphill shots, you're adding 10, 20 yards on a club or two for the majority of them. So with a player like Eileen, who doesn't hit it as high as say BB, it's drastic. So when she has 160 yards up a hill, that's plus 10 yards or 8 yards. She's hitting 2 more clubs, sometimes potentially 2.5 more clubs, and it's challenging. So we really have to have a game plan. Like I said, Eileen, with playing there 8 rounds at this point, she knows the lines. It's making sure she can hit her spots, when her landing areas, and we'll just have to see how the golf course will play in terms of the greens. How fast and firm they are. They've been fast and firm, but they also have had a lot of rain down there recently. So we just came back from South Carolina with the men's team, and then obviously Georgia with the women's team. And over the South Carolina, we saw over the 3 tournament rounds, saw 3 different golf courses because of rain and because of wind conditions, and it becomes challenging. So they're going to have to adapt, and each morning when we go out, we're going to have a kind of a strategic game plan.